Hi, friends. It's Tim from Project Reclamation, and I want to thank you for downloading or streaming or whatever you call it, this new episode. And also, I want to thank you for putting up with our little hiatus we've been on lately. But hey, we are back. And if you're listening to this anytime within some sort of realm of time that this is being released, then, you know, hey, we're in some crazy times right now. So with this and our next, our whole kind of the next series of episodes we're going to be releasing, I just want to let you guys know we're here for you, and things may seem crazy, but this is the place where we want to kind of hash it out and share our thoughts on how to stay sane and happy and healthy and positive throughout this. Because you know what? We can make it through this and we're all going to be all right. So that being said, this is the first episode we have done recorded via Skype. It's kind of a cool episode. We have some phenomenal guest hosts on with us. But I just wanted to say, we're working through some issues. Skype is obviously not perfect. So there's some little glitches and hiccups. So please excuse all that. But hey, thanks for listening. And I'm so happy to have you. We love you guys, and we're happy to have you as our followers, our listeners, as the Reclamation. So enjoy the episode, and you can contact us at projectxreclamation@gmail.com or go check us out at podbelly.com. That being said, enjoy.
Proud members of the Podbelly Podcast Network.
I know you're tired. I know you're hurting. And I wish I could say something that was classy and inspirational.
You can do it!
But that just wouldn't be our style.
Welcome to Project Reclamation, where you rebuild, re-energize, and reclaim your life.
All right, welcome back to the Project Reclamation podcast, where you, stumbled upon it because you didn't know everything else to do.
Welcome, friends.
Hi, guys.
Happy whatever day it is. This is
October.
Quarantine episode 1.
I'm enjoying a quarantini out of a 1 liter bottle.
Isn't quarantini what they're going to call the babies that are being made during this lockdown? Or coronials?
Coronials.
Yeah.
I love that.
Coronials.
Yep.
Yeah. So thanks for sticking with us. We apologize. We've been on a little hiatus lately. We've been, doing some stuff in the background, but also, just trying to coordinate schedules. But we are back.
Hiatus is such a weird word. It reminds me of like a giraffe, like hyenas.
Have you ever seen giraffes fight? That is
Dude, it's like sword fighting.
It's like sword fighting.
It's like really slow-mo sword fighting.
A giraffe is pretty tough, though. It's like the giraffe's first experience in the world is like a 6-foot drop. And then it's like, okay, now go run from lions.
Yeah, that's pretty intense.
Oh.
Yeah.
What a life.
So, yeah, go ahead, dude.
No, you're good. I was just
going to say, so you probably heard some other voices. We are joined today by 2 of our colleagues in the Podbelly Network, Liz and Cheyenne from Plug Away.
From We're Not Sure Yet.
You're not you don't know where you're from?
We're not sure yet. Yeah. That's
Sorry.
exactly.
I love making fun of the name of your guys' podcast.
That's exactly the joke. That's exactly the joke. We're not sure yet.
You got it.
Yeah.
You're good.
Great.
Okay, so tell us.
Yeah. Welcome, y'all. Welcome. We
tell us a little bit about your podcast.
Just recorded y'all's podcast.
We did.
Yes.
And that was a blast. I enjoyed answering questions because I like talking about me, frankly.
Yeah. I like rapid fire questions.
Yeah, those are fun.
Yeah.
Those are. I
Rapid
think we
fire
can just steal
always-
some. Yeah.
Yes. Blue.
Rapid
7.
fire
30.
questions are my favorite questions to ask personally.
Rottweiler. Yeah. No, for sure fun. So yeah. So go check out that episode of We're Not Sure Yet. I don't know what is it going to be called?
That'll be called We're Not Sure About Project Reclamation. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That
Nope,
episode-
it is, let's be honest. Yeah, we're not sure.
Yeah, exactly. And then that episode will be out for the general public on the 27th. But if you're part of our Tinfoil Hat Club, which is our Patreon, you'll get to hear it on the 20th. So Monday. Yeah.
Do you guys have a name for your listeners, like as a whole?
No, not really.
Swarm, the herd.
We tried to like come up with something, but it didn't feel right. It just I feel like it has to just come organically.
Yeah.
No, that works. That works. We kind of use reclination.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
JB's like, I've never heard that before.
No, which also kind of sounds like a, medical procedure. Like, I just got my reclination. I just turned 50 and I needed to.
Yeah, I have to get one every day now.
You got it after your colonoscopy?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, kind of. I mean, but no, the reclination. God, it does sound weird now that I don't know. Yeah.
No,
it's a work in progress. We're not sure yet.
Yeah, we're not sure yet. Exactly.
We're not sure yet.
We have the Tinfoil Hat Club, which is like our Patreon. Yeah, but other than that, we don't really have like a name for.
Yeah, because by the time it occurred to us to like, oh, maybe we should name our listeners, we were already like 80 episodes deep. So we were like, this is just not that we're way past that.
Yeah,
it's never too late to change course. Small course changes.
It's true.
Keep you on the path to righteousness.
A plane flying to Hawaii is off course 95% of the time, but they're always making small course corrections, and they actually get you there. Maybe, hopefully.
If a train left San Diego at
oh no,
and another one left Cincinnati, when do they crash?
October.
So today, so for anybody who's listening and it's not like 2 years from now for some reason, then you probably know we are in the middle of this Corona COVID lockdown. We're all stuck at home.
Yes.
We're doing this via Skype. I know it's not pronounced that way, but
I hate
JB hates Skype
so
with a passion. So
it's not user error at all either.
Yeah. So we wanted to talk about kind of like how to deal with this kind of like the world is ending, we're all stuck at home kind of thing, and how to maybe, be positive and stuff. So
to turn down the volume a little bit on the
hype.
Yeah, the massive just barrage of high frequency mush that's coming our way, because it's everywhere. You turn on the TV, even like, it's in our heads, even just looking outside and like, it's just there, it's like, how do you get rid of it? How do you you almost have to like meditate. So that's kind of what we wanted to talk about today. And hopefully y'all can set some insight too on how y'all deal with this too, so.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Sure.
So Liz, tell us about your experience.
So for me, I mean, it's been pretty smooth sailing for me. I'm an introvert, so I generally enjoy just being by myself and indoors and not really having to like go out and like interact with people.
So life hasn't changed much then.
No, life didn't really change much. But I will say the most drastic thing that has changed in my life is, well, one. Oh. Pause indefinitely. The one thing that has like kind of drastically changed is, well, one of them is that I'm not working right now because of all this. So
what do you do for work, by the way? Sorry, I don't know you very well.
No, it's fine. I work at a radio station. I was a sales assistant. So I just kind of help around and manage all of that. I was doing a little bit of the social media stuff there too, but that's all on pause right now because of all the craziness. So that's the biggest thing that has changed, is me not having to like go into work anymore. But then also Cheyenne and I would hang out like almost 7 days a week. Yeah. Like I was always over at her house. So that has drastically changed. We don't really see each other anymore, aside from like the other day when you dropped off. Weakens her immune system a little bit.
You can read minds? Wait, sorry, that was stupid.
Yeah, exactly. No, I have pretty bad asthma.
Yeah.
So my immune system's already like trash.
Yeah.
So, and plus like my mom is like above the age of 60. So it's just we just don't want to like risk anything.
Plus, like if you listen to like our episodes, just click a random episode and there's a pretty good chance that Cheyenne is sick. So like Cheyenne already is a person like,
you don't have like black mold in your room, do you?
I don't. I really don't.
All right. Well, look around because that's usually the cause of chronic sickness in the home.
Insert Bakersfield joke here.
Oh, what was I talking crap about Bakersfield?
I mean,
no. I mean, there's a Bakersfield joke about why she's always sick. I just didn't get around to actually like carrying it all the way through. Yeah, you gotta build that immune system. I'm gonna go get the antibody test, and if I don't have it, then I think I'm gonna go start licking doorknobs until I get it, so I can get over it.
Sort of like a normal Saturday night for you, anyways. So
pretty much, yeah.
He likes to walk around licking doorknobs and railings. He really likes the gum that people put under like handles and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
Free candy.
That scene from Elf was the best.
Oh my god, that scene just like horrified me like as a kid.
I know.
And then now, just like as an adult, especially with all of this going on, like rewatching that, it's like, oh god, no, so many germs, gross.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know what's interesting? I feel like I was a dirty little kid, and so I have like a strong immune system because of it.
Oh yeah.
I guess we lost JB.
Oh, I guess he's gone.
So yeah, so I mean, I still. Oh, there he's come back. There he is.
Just keep going. If I disappear, just keep going. I'm sorry. I hate to be.
So yeah, I mean, I still think that like getting exposed to things is probably a good thing in general.
Yeah.
But yeah, this whole thing is so weird. Like everyone wearing masks and gloves and stuff.
Yeah.
Although I feel like people don't understand how gloves work. Like just because you put gloves on doesn't mean the gloves aren't going to get dirt. So I see people in the grocery store with gloves on, and their
gloves are not a hazmat suit.
Well, no, and they're talking on their phone, and so I'm like, look, gloves are only going to be effective if you put them on.
Yeah.
Do what you need to do. Don't touch your face. Don't touch your phone.
Right.
And then when you're done doing what you're doing, like when you get out of the grocery store, then you take the gloves off, and then you're good. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
because if anything, the gloves are cross-contaminating more.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, I thought I seen somewhere that the CDC is recommending like we not even wear gloves.
Yeah.
Anymore.
Just wash your hands.
I don't know.
Just wash your hands.
Yeah, just wash your hands. One, they were saying that like soap. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead. No, I was just gonna say I did see
soap is more effective than hand sanitizer, and I'm just gonna keep talking over you. So.
It's your podcast. You do whatever you want.
No. The floor is yours.
Okay, I was just gonna say I did see the other day. My family and I did like that Walmart pickup thing, and this lady, you know, those like when you buy like a bed set, sometimes like you get like the bed in a bag, comes in like that big ass. She had the bag over her head. I was like, I mean, do you? But like, you're still gonna go touch everything.
Yeah, that's
like it doesn't. I don't understand.
Yeah, some people
as a whole are smart. The person is stupid.
Oh my god. It just makes me wonder how, as a human species, we've survived this long.
Just by sheer numbers. Just by throwing a bunch of stuff at the wall and seeing if it sticks.
Yeah, probably.
It is really interesting.
That's not right.
So I mean, you. I know we were chatting the other day, and you know, we all agreed there's like good days and bad days.
For sure.
When you've had some like bad days, what are some things you do to try and like pull yourself out of it?
I mean, I personally, music always helps me.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
I have like, you know, different playlists for different moods, so I like to just listen to music. The other day, actually on Easter, so the weather was like really nice on Easter, like especially at night. It was just like breezy and stuff outside. So I actually just sat like on my patio set and just like played ocean sounds on Spotify.
Yeah.
Kind of like sat there, like me and my family just like sat there and just like didn't talk, just like chill, played on.
Yeah.
That was super therapeutic. I'm the type where like I love the ocean, so for me that was just like, oh my god.
Yeah.
That's actually a really good thing, just to not talk too. Like, you know, that alone, sitting in silence, is extremely therapeutic. You add the ocean sounds for sure, because I think so much of this too is just people just talking, and like, you know, like just kind of resetting, just be like, I just want to be.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, yeah, I think it goes back to the whole serenity prayer thing too. Like, people are panicking about a bunch of shit that they can't control.
Right.
Like, just accept it, deal with it, and then control what you can. Like, what can you do to make today better for yourself?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and in that case,
that's just
mitigating
sitting
the noise,
around. Yeah, and maybe just block out the noise. If meditation's your thing, then go for it. If you're into like yoga or whatever. Or you can just binge watch something on Netflix.
Yeah.
You mentioned music. Like, what's your, like, if you're having a really terrible day, is there like a song or an artist that like just kind of soothes you or helps you kind of step out of that?
Good question. I mean, when I'm like in that type of mood where I kind of need to just like be chill and relax a little bit, I listen to like James Blake. He's really good. I don't know if you guys listen to him. James Blake, Post Malone. He's always just like a nice chill vibe.
Yeah.
I would say those two are like probably like James Blake 100% because he's just like super, super chill.
Right on.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
Yeah. What about you, Liz?
Recently I've gotten into Rex Orange County. His music I like music where you can actually like hear the instruments. Like, I don't want to I don't want to be like I'm a music purist or whatever, but like I like his stuff because like it has like a good like kind of like a jazzy vibe, kind of still kind of hip hoppy, but he definitely incorporates a lot of like, like actual instruments into his like stuff. And it just kind of like I play guitar and I was in a band for quite some time, so Sweet. I've kind of learned to like whenever I listen to music, I'm terrible at lyrics because my mind automatically is programmed to just like listen to the music first to learn the parts. So for me, music that is more than just like some synthy pop or like, I mean, I love some good synth pop too, like if that's the mood I'm in, but like to get me out of my head, definitely something with like a lot of instruments, like a lot of like instruments just kind of like playing with each other, because it kind of like helps me concentrate on like, oh, what's the guitar doing here, or what are the trumpets doing here, what's that instrument doing, what's the piano doing, like
it's kind of the shower principle where like you're doing something where the other part of your brain takes over,
right?
So the anxiety part just kind of I like that. That's cool.
Yeah, that has definitely helped. I'm also one of the lucky people that actually has a backyard. During all this, I know a lot of people are like stuck in like smaller apartments who don't have a balcony or a backyard to like be able to go outside. So I go outside with my dog and we just I let him do zoomies and I'll chase him around, and we get our little wazoos out, get some yayas out,
get all the crazy out.
Yeah, just for a little bit. Occasionally a neighbor will be out there and I'm sure they think I'm weird, but it's fine.
Yeah, what are you gonna do? What about you, Tim? What kind of music? I know, like, I probably know you better than most, but like, do you listen to music?
No. No, which is funny because I mean, I like music. I enjoy music. I play the guitar. I'm okay at it, but I don't know. I just if I'm gonna listen to something, I usually end up turning on a podcast or like an audiobook. I don't know. I like to like learn shit.
Yeah,
that's kind of where I'm at.
I feel kind of the same way. Like I went away from music. I worked in music, so it was kind of like a doctor coming home and like not wanting to talk about medicine.
Yeah.
But I've gone back into kind of being a fan. And for me, it's 90s country because that was like, it takes me back because like so many memories are associated with music.
Yeah.
So it takes me back to that time, like it was a sophomore in high school and I was completely carefree. So that's how music affects me, is I literally just transform back there and that like let that kind of feeling take me over and I'm like, okay, cool. Like, all right, how would I approach this with less stress on my back?
Yeah. Go back to a simpler time.
Yeah, exactly. Let that wash over me, like when me and Tim were in our trucks driving around like two idiots, having the time of our lives. Like that's where I approach music in times like that. So
100%.
Yeah.
Yes. Definitely also staying. I'm the kind of person that loves like social media. I love being on Twitter. I love being on Instagram. But for a while there, Twitter was getting to be a lot of just like news stuff, which is fine.
Yeah.
Because I get a good amount of news from Twitter, and then other websites and stuff. But it was getting to be a lot. So I had to like kind of just like detach myself a little bit from Twitter because it was more news than jokes at one point. And I was like, this is just kind of depressing me now. I'm going to step away and maybe go play some Animal Crossing or something.
Well,
I'm glad you brought up Twitter. I'm the same way. Like even before just the pandemic happened, like Twitter was kind of like, for me, like it always kind of gave me anxiety just because I don't know about like what's on your timeline, but like for me, I would just see people like fighting, like someone will like tweet an opinion and then other people like come for them. And like to just constantly see people like in all these stupid like online Twitter wars would just like get to me, like even just seeing like political stuff, like just kind of like a lot. And now that we're in a pandemic, like Twitter, it's a bunch of like negativity. So I've been going back and forth between like deleting it. Like I don't delete it. I just like log out. I still have the podcast Twitter. So that I can like do stuff on there. But like my personal Twitter, I've like logged out and then like I logged back in the other day to like share good news. But then I like logged out again.
I think definitely
Twitter for me mean like anxiety creator. Like Twitter gives me anxiety these days.
I think definitely curating your social media, like Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, to just kind of be a good balance between like news stuff and then like also like memes and jokes, because we can't have like too much of one or too much of the other. It's got to be a nice little balance. And I think
it'll run away from you for sure.
I think with my personal Twitter, I think I've done a pretty good job at like weeding out like the drama and just kind of keeping it straight to just like news stuff, but then also a lot of memes and jokes and stuff. So I get a good balance. But when all of this had started, even like the funny accounts that I follow kind of got like really dark for a second, and I was like, oh, this is too much. I gotta run away. I gotta log off.
Well, what's funny is something that I've noticed as a challenge during this is, I don't care what lifestyle you choose, what religion you are. Like I try and be as middle of the road and just cool as possible to people. Obviously everybody has their biases. I'm not saying I'm perfect. But one thing that I have noticed is that the all of everybody's little kind of intricacies and eccentricities have been amplified.
Oh yeah.
So people who I would be kind of like just on a joking basis have got like kind of super serious about a politics, be towing the whatever the media narrative line is. So that's been one of my biggest challenges, is trying to take all that with a grain of salt and be like, listen, they may not know exactly what they're saying because it's all emotionally based. So in my aspect, that's been one of the biggest challenges, is like, hey, just take a step back.
Yeah.
Give them their space, because they're dealing with this in the way that they know how to.
Do you think it has anything to do with the fact that now, since everybody's kind of like sheltered at home and stuff, everybody's kind of having a little more time to be alone with their thoughts, and maybe things that they haven't
absolutely
like processed before now are like coming to light, and they don't know how to deal with it?
Well, no, that probably is an excellent way to put it. Like people are just like, okay, now I have to, deal with the bed that I've made, not that seriously, but
I know for like a lot of people, like their jobs and like their hobbies are kind of like escapism to like the problems that they're actually dealing with in their like actual life. And instead of like confronting that problem, they just like, oh, I'm just going to go and get drunk at a bar, like, but they can't do that now. So
well, and I think a lot of it too is a lot of people don't know who they are.
Yeah.
People are struggling to find their kind of identity, and they had so much of their identity in their work, in what they did. Yeah. And now it's like, they don't have that. So they're really kind of, it's a crash course in themselves, really. This is. Yeah. And it's like, okay, well, everybody's susceptible and emotionally based. So it's really not a good time to find yourself because it's like in turmoil.
Yeah.
So that's another way that I kind of deal with it. As like, okay, listen, I'm by no means perfect, and I'm not trying to say that. It's just like I got to give people some grace, because it's like, that thing that they put out there was probably in duress in some way. What do you guys see as as the biggest challenge? I know they're plentiful and right around every corner. Yeah. What have you guys seen as like the biggest challenge through this? And how do you deal with it?
Personally,
go ahead.
I would say, like, I mean, just to kind of, if I can kind of rewind a little bit, I think a lot of people do what they do because they're scared. And like you were saying, like now people, it was really easy before to kind of hide from yourself all day long. You know, you're at work, you're with people, then maybe you go out to a bar, then you watch some TV, and you never had to think too much about, you know, who am I? What am I doing here? What's the purpose of me and my life? And now people are stuck at home and they have nothing else to do but reflect and shit. So I think overall, I think people being scared is probably a huge challenge. Personally, for me, I think it's just figuring out, like, trying to be productive and like not go stir crazy.
Yeah, I think for me, because I'm more of like an introvert person, anyways, and I just kind of like I tend to like to be alone with myself and my thoughts more. I think maybe because I already do that so much on a general basis, I haven't really lost my mind too much. Like there have been days where I'm like, oh my God, what is going on? But for the most part, you know, and again, I'm not saying I'm perfect and I know myself all perfect and I'm, you know, all that. But like, I think I'm pretty introspective on like, I know pretty much who I am. And, you know, I'm not really the kind, I can be the kind of person that like throws myself into work and just like, you know, escapes the problem that I'm having.
Oh yeah, everybody can, you know, yeah.
But for the most part, I think I do a pretty good job at like reeling myself back and be like, okay, what's really going on here? But yeah, so I haven't really had to have like those moments where I'm like actually losing my mind because
that's good. I mean, that's great.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't really think I've like lost my mind either. I'm not an introvert at all. I mean, I feel like I'm an extrovert, but I do like to be alone. I do like to, you know, like have like my me time. And I think my biggest challenge is just like the lack of privacy I have now, because I live with my mom and sister. We live in a 2-bedroom apartment. So my sister and I share a room. And my mom's working from home now. So like we're all together all the time. And before this, I wasn't working. So I'm kind of used to like being home, but I was also used to like my sister being gone for the day and my mom being gone for the day. So I'm an extrovert, but I mean, I do like that like alone time. And now I'm not getting that like at all. I can't just like go in my room and just like de-stress because it's my sister's room too. And I can't tell her, hey, get out, you know? So I think for me, that's like the biggest thing. It's just like privacy. But I am pretty proud of the way like I've been handling this, because I've been like more productive now than I was before. Yeah. So I feel like, which is weird. Like I didn't really see that happening. Like, I mean, I'm in grad school, so I have homework all the time. I also like before this was, like I said, I wasn't working. So I was trying to kind of figure out like, what like career path do I want to go down? Like, I feel like I've kind of been like going through that for a while, but through this, I've actually made the decision to like become a freelancer. So that's cool, because I've kind of just like been working on that and like reading a lot and that type of stuff. So yeah, I feel like I'm blessed in the sense that like I don't have too many challenges right now.
And what are you studying? Sorry, I just met you guys, so I'm not. What are you studying in grad school?
I am a communications major with a concentration in public relations.
Okay, and freelancing would be.
So I want to freelance in like virtual assistant. I don't know if you guys have like heard of that. It's kind of new. I feel like a lot of people either know it or they don't. Like when I.
Sweet.
Are we good? Are we back?
Yes, we're back. We're good. Yeah.
Oh, we're back. What's up, y'all?
We are back.
So what was happening before?
You were describing freelancing in your current profession direction.
Yeah. So just freelancing for small businesses, like I said. So doing like calendar management, emailing, Shopify, some social media stuff, that kind of thing. So I actually found like a course. This girl like teaches people how to like get legal, how to like brand yourself, how to like, come up with like contracts, things like that. So,
which is good
That's
because
cool.
you do that stuff for our podcast, anyways.
yeah, and
Nice.
it's perfect. My classes right now is called personal brands, and like one of our textbooks is like about like personal and professional branding.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, cool. Like this is actually like pretty relevant to my life right now.
Yeah.
Nice.
So,
Things happen for a reason.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's what my mom says.
That's right.
My mommy told me.
Time's
Yep,
fun
pretty
when
much.
you're having flies.
Yep, exactly. Exactly. So I feel like this is also a good time to like, I think this is a good segue. It's like a good time to like pick up a new skill or learn something and stuff. So obviously I think Cheyenne, I think you already answered the question that I haven't asked yet, but Liz, JB, what are some things, if anything, that you guys have done recently because you had extra time on your hands?
So my little cousins, I teach them guitar.
Okay.
They already
Cool.
know piano. And my little cousin actually recommended me the app, Simply Piano. And you pay like a 1-year subscription, and I don't know how to read, like sheet music at all. I learned how to play guitar by ear. So I'm kind of like
Me
teaching
too.
myself how to like read sheet music and play the piano. And it's pretty fun. I think it's a little more intuitive because I already know guitar. But yeah, piano is one of those instruments that I got taught as a child. It was kind of like forced on me. And then I kind of decided I don't want to do this. I hate it. And I've forgotten mostly everything at this point. I know how to do the C scale, and that's about it.
Yeah, all the white keys.
Yeah, exactly. Just constant, just like that.
C scale. It's such a racist scale. God.
It really is.
Yeah, but now with the Simply Piano app, which sponsor us, please.
Sponsor us.
I'm using that to kind of like teach myself piano, and it's been fun. It's a nice little distraction, keeps the brain going.
Nice.
Yeah.
What about you, JB?
Let's see. Well, I have been fortunate enough to be working through this, so I have picked up a lot of kind of like business skills, I guess. I'm in charge of hiring and doing that, so I've been learning Indeed and interviewing skills and stuff like that.
Nice.
Have been coming in pretty quick, and then the other thing I have been learning in a not so tangible fashion is patience. Because I've got 2 kids, and we are very fortunate to have my wife's parents. So we've kind of been quarantining just between the 2 families. But still they're not at school, and we have to, my wife works kind of in the morning.
Yeah.
And then if the kids are with us, I take the morning shift with the kids, and then we swap, and then it's just ongoing. So I have complete and utter just, respect for anybody with kids that is going through this and not working, because that would be, you have the stress of not working and then having to entertain them and then be worried about, can I put food on the table? Yeah. So patience for me is probably the most, and it's been a hard fought battle. I lose my patience very easily.
How old are you?
3 and 1.
Oh, little.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
you
little
have, like,
kids.
Schoolwork yet to like keep them entertained.
Yeah, no. Like they watch Little Baby Bum on Netflix.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and Disney Plus.
I have no idea what that is.
You don't want anything. It's just complete CIA brainwashing, dude. Like they could be like hanging from the ceiling, like tearing paint off the walls. I turn that on, and they're just like. Like it's just basically nursery rhymes set to weird British like animations.
Oh, I love that. I think my little cousin watches something like that. I don't.
It's on Netflix. It's all over the place. It's called Little Baby Bum. There's like 3 seasons of it.
But it's hilarious because
we have the. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead, and then I'll.
Sorry, real quick. It's hilarious because over Christmas break, I was over at their house for like Christmas and stuff, and my little cousin was going around. He's like 3, but he was going around like saying hello, but he was like saying it with a British accent. And I was like,
Peppa Pig,
I
probably.
think it was Peppa Pig. Yeah, I think that's
I
like
bet it
one of
was.
those shows. But I was like, why is he saying it like this? I don't understand.
Like, hello, Gav.
Yeah, he was going, hello, hello, hello. And I was like, why?
Peppa Pig is the worst. I hate
Yeah,
Peppa Pig.
mind you, we're all Hispanic. We're freaking Guatemalan and Salvadorian. So, like, none of us are anywhere. Like, if anything, we speak Spanish at home. So I was like, where is this little infant learning how to say hello with a British accent? Yeah, it turns out he was watching like all these like little British cartoons. I was like, oh, that makes sense.
The little spongy minds that they have.
Yeah, it's crazy. What were you gonna say, Cheyenne?
I was just gonna say, one of the, I don't know if your kids watch it, but one of the more like tolerable kid shows is we have a friend, April, who has a baby, and on Netflix they watch something called Storybots, which is like actually pretty cute because they like teach you about like random stuff like science and like history. It's not just like your basic like it's not like your basic like colors and it's actually like more tolerable of the kids shows, so maybe try that. Nice.
Well, it's funny. I find myself like, you know, my son loves to watch Paw Patrol in the morning, and so we'll get up. I want to watch Paw Patrol. I'm like, oh, they're still sleeping. Yeah, that's been my thing. Like, he's getting to the point where he's like, Dad, they're awake. Just turn on Paw Patrol.
You're like, there's no cases for Chase to.
Yeah, exactly.
Right now.
They're sleeping. They need a break right now.
No, Dad, they're not sleeping. It's like, dang it! Now I gotta think of something else.
He's catching on.
Yeah, so I got.
They got the corona.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Let's get dark quickly. Sorry, dude. They're on ventilators.
They're on ventilators.
Wow. I am not trying to be insensitive right now. That was merely a joke.
You know,
which is not funny, but. Yeah. Like the poor people that'll listen to this.
That was kind of my fault. Yeah. So that one was kind of my fault.
What was?
I took us down that dark path.
Yeah, you did. Thanks, Tim.
Yeah, I did. I know. I like how I opened the door, then I just pushed you right through. Here, JP, go do this.
We'll edit that part out.
Maybe we will. Maybe we won't. I feel like we always say we'll edit stuff out, and then I never do.
Yeah.
Like, we'll just edit that out. Yeah.
Yeah, we do that all the time. I'm like, yeah, I'll edit that out. And then when I go to actually edit the episode, I'm like, yeah, but that's really funny. I should actually leave
Exactly. Exactly.
I can say it, so it's all good.
I think there was only, I feel like there was only one thing that I took out of one of our episodes, like early on.
Yeah.
And I think it was just because there was like a lack of context, like why it would be funny, and I feel like it was. So that's the only. I've only done that once ever.
Yeah.
I think it had something to do with Nazis. Not really sure, but yeah.
Yeah.
Stuff.
You know.
So yeah, I don't know, like silencing the noise.
Yeah.
I think we've kind of touched on this too. I think inadvertently through other answers, like
no, we sure have
turning off social media, turning off the TV, just in general.
Yeah.
Because I feel like even on like, you know, relatively innocuous shows, you're still getting the commercials for, you know, make sure you wash your hands. You know, all the propaganda kind of stuff. But turning off the TV, just sitting there like you guys do, sit outside.
I think I'm glad you said that. I think a big thing is just like go sit outside. Yeah. Like don't sit on your couch all day. Don't sit in your don't lay in your bed all day. Like just sit outside. Like for me, that's a huge one. We actually like redid. So we live in an apartment, but we do have a pretty nice like front patio area. So my sister and I like redid the patio. She like bought us a table to go sit out there. We have like a nice little sunshade and like just sitting out there. Like it sounds so cheesy, but like listening to the birds and shit.
No,
like,
for sure.
Yeah. And for me personally, like the sound of like cars and stuff is calming because I like to know that there's like people near me.
No, absolutely. It's not post-apocalyptic yet.
Yet.
You know? Yeah. I mean, it sounds funny to say, but it's true. It's like as long as there's, you know, people doing their daily lives, things are relatively normal, you know?
Yeah, as long as there's no sounds of tank treads and megaphones.
Yeah.
Literally. exactly. Like I live off of a big street and there's a Costco across the street from me. So I like to hear like the cars and the get and shit. So like, yeah, just get outside.
I've heard people from New York City like moving to the country and like can't sleep because it's too quiet.
Yeah. I grew up in LA, and when we first moved here to Bakersfield, we moved to an area that was like just barely being built. Like our neighborhood was like brand new homes, and like I think in our block it was maybe like our house, my uncle's house, because they bought a house like right next to us, and then down the street there were maybe like 2 other neighbors. So it was completely quiet, and like behind our house was just like an empty lot, and it was the weirdest thing to me because I grew up like right smack in the middle of like mid-city LA, like by Koreatown, like all that area. And so I mean I grew up like falling asleep to like loud neighborhood parties and like police coming by and like
horns
shutting
honking
them down.
and
Horns, helicopters, like all that like crazy noise. And so I remember moving here at first and being like, this is way too quiet. What is happening? Now I'm a little more used to it, and it's just kind of like, oh, chill. But like at first I remember being so like, just what is going on? Yeah. But yeah, no, I love a good little, city sounds.
Well, a lot of those apps too have that. They have like the city sound, like right next to the waterfall or the crashing waves.
Yeah.
The rainforest.
Different flavors for different people.
Caw, tiki.
Yeah.
I like to go to sleep to rain sounds.
There you go.
Yeah. I've never been a person that has trouble sleeping. I'm one of those lucky people that like I kind of just my head hits the pillow and I'm out. Yeah. Which so I don't really
That means you have a clean conscience.
I like to think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never been the kind of person that like for me it's kind of like if I'm awake for more than like 5 minutes trying to fall asleep, then it's like, okay, what's going on here? Why am I not asleep yet? How have I not fallen asleep? What's going on? And then that keeps me up. But for the most part, it's just like I hit the pillow and I'm out.
Right on.
Yeah. Well, good for you.
Thanks.
Right?
I know.
Bragger.
No advice on how to get there, but yeah. I also tend to just exhaust myself during the day.
What were you saying? Sorry.
I tend to just exhaust myself during the day so that by the time I go to bed, it's just like, I don't have time to think of anything. I need to sleep.
That's a big one that I've noticed like people who don't sleep typically either like they have desk jobs or, like they're not physically exhausted or mentally exhausted enough to go to sleep,
Even a desk job can be very mentally exhausting.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. That's true. Yeah.
Because I was... Before I worked at the radio station, I was working at a coffee shop, which was it was a part-time job, but it was like more demanding on me physically than working full-time at a desk job, which was more demanding on me like mentally. But I would find myself being more exhausted from my desk job than I was from the coffee shop. Yeah. I don't know. Like I could totally do like a whole 8-hour shift on my feet, running around doing all kinds of stuff and be like, tired, but fine. But for some reason I would come home from like my desk job and be like, oh my God, I'm exhausted. I don't understand how this is making me more tired than being up on my feet. But I think
the brain burns a lot of calories.
Yeah. I think it's just, your brain going and having to like think quickly and crazy.
Yeah. I know. I mean, I was like I worked at like my first job was working at a daycare. Yeah. So that was pretty demanding. And then
wow.
Yeah. That's why I know all the kid shows. But
it's like physically and mentally demanding.
Oh my God. Yeah. I would be exhausted. But then I have had administrative jobs like receptionist, front desk work. And yeah, same thing. Like I would go home more tired from that. I don't know if it's just from like sitting there all day or if it was, dealing with people on the phone all day. Like dealing with other people is just exhausting because people are rude and stupid.
People are
true.
Yeah. And I would be more tired from that. I'm like, oh my God, I can't talk to anybody else. Like, don't talk to me.
Yeah.
That's funny. Yeah. Sweet. Well, okay. So we've kind of gone through and what did I toot?
Yeah, no.
I didn't interrupt you, did I? I'm sorry. There's like a weird lag.
No.
Okay,
No,
good.
you were done, right?
Yeah.
She's like, well, yeah, I am now. What else we got?
It's a good question. I feel like
This is pretty much how these episodes go. We're like,
we've already
we
said
get off
so
to a good
much.
start. We're like,
Sometimes we just
we don't
and then
plan our
sometimes we run out of
episodes.
gas.
And we kind of like push the car into the gas station.
Sorry, what were you saying, Cheyenne?
Oh, I was just saying it doesn't help because Liz and I talk a lot, so I feel like we just answer your question.
That's why we have you guys on, because we want to talk. We want you guys to talk, not us.
It's the beauty of guests. You can have guests on so that you don't have to do as much.
You let the guests just run the whole podcast.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, you're recording our podcast right now, so
exactly.
I
I'm in
mean, jokes on
control.
you.
Yeah. So I feel like we've talked a lot about ourselves. We've dragged it out a little bit to like, but I don't know, what's some advice we can give people who like are, panicking or having issues with, the world's gonna end. Oh my God, we're all gonna die.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I mean, for me, I would just say, like, try to give yourself a sense of normalcy the best you can. Like, if you're not somebody that normally sleeps in, then don't sleep in.
Mm-hmm.
Get up, shower, eat breakfast, get ready for the day. Like, do the normal things that you would be doing if we weren't in a pandemic. I would also say too, like, try your best to like talk to your friends.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, Liz and I have like virtual happy hours with our friend. Like, we just had one the other day, and I feel like that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's weird because I feel like I talk to friends who don't live in Bakersfield more now than I did before. Yeah. So, this is the perfect time to like connect with people, like reconnect with people, like just talk to your friends. Like, everybody's going through the same thing. So I think it helps to understand that like you're not the only person who's stuck at home.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
So that would be my advice. Get outside,
I like
talk
that.
to your friends.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of the we're in this together type thing,
I think the advice that Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead. No, go ahead. I'm done.
Oh, okay.
No, you go. No, you hang up.
No, you hang out. No, you hang out. No, I think the advice that I would give is just kind of give yourself some grace. It's the world is a lot right now. Like it's a lot. Yeah. Let's be real. It's a lot.
No, it's a ton. Yeah, it's so crazy.
And I think it's very, easy to just get like wrapped up in like, oh, I have to be productive and I have to do this and I have to do that and I have to do, whatever. But on the same note, it's okay to just, take a day and just relax. Just sit down, sip on a cup of coffee, make another cup of coffee. Just
bounce off the wall.
Yeah, just kind of like take a moment to just breathe and relax and de-stress a little bit and understand that yes, the world is a lot, but if I'm a little more level-headed, I can take it on better than if I'm already stressed on top of all the stress. So, it's good to just not feel guilty about, taking that day for yourself to just relax.
I think it's good for people to remember that it's okay to have bad days.
Yeah. Yeah.
100%.
Like, if you want to take a day and like crawl in a ball and cry all day because you're stressed about the world, like,
that's fine.
Do it. Who cares?
Yep.
It's like, that's totally fine. No one's gonna like knock you for it.
Right. Like, you don't
but it is. This is her for everyone. We've never been in a situation like this before. So everybody's handling it differently. Like, if you need to take a day and like be emotional and be a mess, like go for it.
Yeah. It's good to just let out all that. Because the last thing you want is to, hold up all that like pent up, anger and energy and stress that you have during this quarantine time. And then when life resumes back to normal and you're going back to your, regular office job or whatever, then all that stress that you had from, the time that you were at home now is being like projected onto like your actual work environment. And it's just, it can get really messy if you don't just take a moment to de-stress, take a little bath. And
it's funny because we were talking about it on y'all's, and some of the things we answered, like, advice is, one of the things that I said was be yourself. Okay, well, you got to know yourself to be yourself, really. Mm-hmm. And then realize that, if you're stressed out, there's a reason that you're stressed out.
Yeah.
Usually when you're going to work, if you're stressed out, if you don't like traffic, and that stresses you out, well, you don't have to deal with traffic right now. So relish in that.
Yeah.
If there's you don't like being on time. Well, you don't have to be on time for anything other than like a happy hour or a Zoom call right now. And you only have to wear half of what you wore before. You basically, we're all newscasters right now. I don't have any pants on. I'm kidding. I do. But so you have to kind of be creative in seeing, finding out what doesn't stress you out and focusing on that, Focus on the fact that I didn't have to get up this morning at 6:30 or get the kids out to school. I have to take care of them, but I don't have to get them out the door.
Right.
Like really kind of recognizing almost like the silver linings of everything, because yes, it's messed up. This is a weird situation, but there are certain things that we're not doing that would usually probably stress you out more. So that's kind of what I've been noticing.
Piggybacking on the stress thing that you were talking about, we had this conversation, Cheyenne, a couple months ago about like what stress is. Like if we think about it, like I was listening to a podcast, I can't remember the name of it right now, but they were talking about like the underlying meaning of like stress. Like, why are you stressed? Like if you're stressed about like traffic, it's like, okay, well, what's really going on there? Like, why are you stressed about traffic? It's like, what are you scared of? It's like, I'm scared that I'm going to be late to something, and then I'm scared that I'm going to be late to work, and then that's going to get me fired. So, well,
you should have left a little earlier, planning. Yeah.
Right, but it's like, just in any aspect, like, why are you stressed right now? It's like, okay, I'm not getting an income to pay my bills. So it's kind of like stress. We use it as a replacement for like what we're scared about. And it's kind of just like thinking about that, and we've kind of like desensitized by just using stress. Oh, I'm just stressed. I'm so stressed. But it's like really like you're scared. Like, what are you scared about? And deal with that once you realize what the actual issue is. It's kind of like taking a moment to just deal with that. I think right now, since we're all in quarantine,
you're adapting. You adapt at that point, you know. So like you find the problem, you recognize it, and then you do whatever you can to fix it.
Right.
Rather than just reacting to it emotionally, which goes back to your advice from earlier.
Yeah.
Totally. I like that, because it's like you go at it a level head. I just listened to, I don't know if you guys know who Les Stroud is. He's the Survivor Man on Discovery Channel. So he's like an outdoors guy. Yeah. He's basically the legitimate Bear Grylls. Bear Grylls is kind of like the reality TV survival guy. Yeah. Les Stroud actually goes out with just himself.
Yeah, no, he doesn't have a camera crew.
He does all his own stuff around. All that being said, he was on Joe Rogan's podcast. And it was the Conspiracy Farm. Never mind. And very similar advice. And it's like, okay, everybody right now is reacting completely emotionally. It's all knee-jerk reactions. Right. You see it on Facebook. And his is very similar to that. And what you said earlier is like, okay, take a deep breath. Learn as much as you can about that current situation or problem or whatever. So that way, take 10 seconds so that you're not reacting completely emotionally.
Right.
Then move into that. Okay, now you can think about it rationally. Okay, well maybe I don't need to wear gloves all day, because it doesn't make sense, but and that's a stupid example, but just going back to figuring out, just take a step back and really analyze the entire problem, and that way you'll probably realize, okay, it's not as bad as you think it is, because there's no, radioactive material falling from the sky right now. It's a beautiful day. The wind is blowing. The birds are chirping. And there's people driving around. Right. So, okay, if you look around, it's not that bad.
Yeah.
It's bad, but it's not that bad, because we're thinking globally.
Right.
But there's people walking their dog on my, on the road that I can see just past the woods at my house. It's, just take a step back and take a breath.
Yeah. Observe, adapt, overcome.
Yep, exactly.
I love it.
Exactly.
And I think, we always talk about, taking those steps towards things you want to do to make yourself better.
Yeah.
And I think, now is a good time for that. Like, what do you want to do? Like, Cheyenne's learning a bunch of stuff about, how to kind of get into freelancing and building brands and stuff. Yeah. JB's dived into a whole new career, and, I nerded out and learned a bunch of stuff you can do in Excel for, boring spreadsheets and stuff.
Seriously,
Hey man,
that's
Love a good
legit.
Excel
That's
is like
brain
wizardry.
surgery.
It's awesome. Yeah.
Oh my
you
god, I
learn
hate
some stuff.
Excel. Yeah.
Sorcery. It's
Yeah.
magic.
Yeah, it kind of
What they
is.
teach at Hogwarts.
But yeah, like I mean, whatever is, it's like if it's personal or professional development, like you probably have more time now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and you don't have to do a
Yeah.
lot, just do a little bit every day, you know, and
Yeah.
that'll give you something to do, take your mind off of things, and then you'll come out better for it. Or maybe it's just like, hey, you know what? I want to go on more walks or runs, or I want to, you know, clean up my diet a little bit and get a little healthier because, you know, now
Yeah.
we're seeing obviously, you know, the healthier you are, the better your immune system is, and the less like you are to die from some freaking virus.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, whatever it is, I think this is take the time that we have now and like look at the silver lining, and maybe you have some time
Yeah.
to pick up a new skill, learn something cool, get better
Yeah.
at something you already did.
But yeah, like those of you who know anything about like martial arts, it's how you almost have to do like emotional judo. Like there's this big imposing force coming at us. So you have to like take that energy and have that keep going
Yeah.
so that you can either stay where you're at or move forward. You know, like that's the whole thing is like it's energy redirection.
Yeah.
You know, it's coming at us. Don't let it hit you.
Yeah.
Step aside, you know, watch it. And then like everybody here in this call is doing something to better themselves,
Right.
you know. And there's people that aren't, and I hate that for them. And I wish I could be like, hey, just take a deep breath and figure something out that you wanted to do right now. There's people who, unfortunately, I had a friend commit suicide 2 weeks ago. Not to really like bring it down, but he was dealing with addiction issues and stuff like that. But it was just bad timing.
Yeah.
He had just gotten a job, and this all happened. And it was like, you know, it's like you can't do. And I don't say that for sympathy. I'm just saying that there are people who are really not taking this well.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And we are all very fortunate to at least have somewhat of a head on our shoulders to be able to see the optimism in the situation. So I just say that, you know, if reach out to your people who even just reach out to everybody, because you never know who's dealing with it, who's not. You know, it's an unprecedented situation. And
There's
just, you know,
also-
reach out. We are a tribal species,
Yeah.
and right now we are being separated from our tribe forcefully in places. So reach out, just be like, hey, we're being together as much as we can, given the circumstances. So that would be my kind of ending advice on the whole situation.
There's also apps
Yeah.
like BetterHelp, and like there's like other therapy apps that you can like talk to like real actual therapists. And I know a lot of them right now during this time are like waiving their fees. So if even just talking to like a friend or a relative or something is not enough, or maybe it's something you can't talk about to a friend or a relative, you know, seeking out those apps is definitely very beneficial and could, you know, do some real good in
No,
your
it could
life.
save
Yeah.
somebody's life, really. Yeah.
Or start a
Yeah.
podcast where you talk about motivation, and really you're just working through your own problems with your friends.
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, that's
that
pretty much just what we did.
Yeah.
And I think it's super therapeutic, you know, like,
It is.
you know, those who can't do teach.
Yeah.
And those who can't teach or do podcast. Yeah.
Love that. Yep.
Hey, podcasting is one of the few things we have left.
Right?
You know what's interesting is I think all this stuff that's taken away from us right now, like there's no sports, you can't go to the movie theaters, like
Yeah.
a lot of these things, I feel like there's going to be some of them that people realize they don't miss that much, and then when they come back, they might not come back at all, or not as popularly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
like pro
definitely see
sports.
that.
It's like I can drink at home. I don't have to pay like, you know, $50 for a ticket to something and then
Yeah.
Well,
pay
yeah.
for parking and get a DUI on the way home. Like,
Well, like
I'm just gonna watch it at home. Thanks.
I don't think theaters are going to be back anytime soon, but like, dude, maybe that means like the resurgence of drive-ins. That would be awesome.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'd love to see
Yeah.
that.
Or maybe new movies just come out on Amazon, and like for the first 2 months, you have to pay like $40 because they're assuming that you're watching it with like 10 other people, and it'll be like a pay-per-view fight or something.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
who
yeah.
knows? I don't know.
Yeah, it'll be
It's
interesting,
interesting.
to see how the world changes from here.
Well, yeah. And I think another thing to do is like, you don't have to get stuck in the panic. Just take a step back.
Right.
And I don't want to say it's kind of fun to observe all the crazy shit that's happening, but kind of is.
Yeah,
Like,
it kind of
you
is.
could just kind of like watch it unfold like a movie.
Yeah.
And like, don't get too wrapped up in it. You know, make sure you can take a step back so you can see the forest through the trees.
Exactly. If you can remove yourself from the situation enough to see the irony in it all, You know, that's really the kind of the only place you can get. Because I mean, there's any sanity, because it's like it's all completely chaotic insanity. Right. You know, I mean, really.
Yep.
Yeah.
Amen.
Cool.
Cool. Any final thoughts from anybody? I think we already kind of did that, but
yeah.
Just try to stay sane. Try to stay sane.
So I'll call you.
Yeah. It's not you, it's me.
It's not you, it's me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm kind of busy. I gotta wash my hair.
Yeah,
I gotta wash my hair. Hey, look. For some of us, washing our hair is a whole day process. Okay.
Wow.
I have really curly hair. So like washing my hair is just a mission. That's why I've cut it short, because it just reduces the time that it takes, because it's a lot. Yeah.
I'm about 2 weeks away from shaving my head.
Do it.
Because I need a haircut soon, and if there's no haircut, I'm just gonna shave my head.
I'm just gonna send a bunch of Nair to your roommate and have him replace your shampoo with it.
Love that.
There you go. That's
awesome.
one way to do it.
I was talking to my buddy, one of my coworkers. He lives out in New York, and we had a WebEx call this morning, and he was wearing a hat. But he calls me and goes, "Dude, I was wearing a hat because like I figured this is the only time I'm going to get to do this, so I have a mohawk right now."
Oh my god! Love that.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's funny.
Good for him.
So you know what? There's another piece of advice. You know, you're stuck at home, so do something. If there's something you can get away with, that like, you know, if you're not doing a lot of Zoom calls or WebEx calls for work, or you can get away with, maybe you want to grow a mohawk, maybe you want to, you know, grow your beard out or your hair out, or I don't know, something.
Maybe you want to dress
else.
like Gandalf.
Exactly.
Maybe maybe you want to wear a cloak and have like a wizard staff.
You do you.
Yeah.
You do you, boo.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right on. Well, I really appreciate you guys coming on and having us on your podcast. I feel like this is
so
cool. You guys are awesome, and I hope we do this again sometime.
Of course.
All right.
And I will be less distant in the future.
All right. Tell people where they can find you.
Yes.
How they can hear more.
We are on the Podbelly Network. Go check us out there. We're also on iTunes, Spotify, all the things.
All the big.
Just wherever you can find a
All
podcast,
bigs.
we're probably there.
You can follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Not Sure Yet Pod. We love to interact with people on there, so
yeah, we got polls going on there all the time. We got, you know, question boxes open. Yeah, it's a good time.
Mm-hmm.
Go hang
Yes,
out.
folks.
Yeah.
They're actually good at the social media.
I know you guys are
That's
super
all
professional,
Cheyenne.
and we're
That's
just like,
100%.
hey, so can you record our podcast for us?
Yeah, no, that's 100% all Cheyenne.
Yeah. Liz
Right.
is all
Katie,
the-
why don't you do that for us? Come on.
Huh?
So why don't you do that?
I can't
for
hear
us?
you. What? Huh? What?
I'm breaking up.
You're cutting out, Tim. I can't hear you.
All right, everyone. Thanks for listening. Cheyenne, Liz, thank you for joining us.
Yes, thank
it's
you guys
been
very much.
a treat. So everyone, do your thing. Stay sane. Stay healthy. Stay safe. And JB, your tagline, please.
Be good.
There we go. All right. Thanks, everyone. Peace out for now.
See y'all.
So what I believe you were trying to say is thank you.